And welcome back to the Sideline Chat at podcast, where today it is your Betfred Super League Week 16 debrief. And round 15 of the Betfred Super League is upon us, where we start off today's action. And, well, the first game of the season. I can't speak. Now, with that out of the way, the first game of round 15, I keep doing this. This is natural professionalism right here. But the Huddersfield Giants up against the Leeds Rhinos is the first game of round 15.
Yes, it certainly is.
And as usually the case, there has been no squad announcements whatsoever, so we only have to go off what we do know. And to this point, we do know that Leeds' Muzzy Mustafa will not be featuring in this game. He has now been banned for 5 matches.
Oh, that's a tough call there for the Rhinos.
Dangerous throw, which was originally graded at an E, got downgraded to a D, but still missing 5 matches. That's not good.
No, it's not. It's definitely going to hurt the Rhinos. Rhinos?
Yep, Leeds. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to definitely hurt them coming into this match against Warrington.
But the way they played against the Warrington Wolves, it was just 1 week ago, coming out 40-4 on top.
Yeah.
That was just an embarrassing result for Daryl Power's side. But Rowan Smith, he would have been absolutely thrilled by that performance.
He's 2-1, I believe. Is he?
I think that's his... Well, that was his first game strictly on Sky Sports. I think he's had maybe 1 or 2 more before that.
Yeah, so I think his first game was a win.
Against Wakefield, yes.
And his second one was a loss. So, yeah, this will be his third match. So he's 2-1 in 3 games. That's not a bad... I know it's early days, but it ain't a bad record.
Honestly, the David Fuzzatua... What about the David Fuzzatua try? The first try scored.
That was something else.
I felt like that was just pure cheek. Not to mention the fact that it was a perfectly executed try. But for leaving the jump out of dummy half, chip kick up, and aim for Fuzzatua to out-jump Matty Ashton, that was just perfect cheek right there.
Certainly was. I mean, they should have... Well, really, Warrington should have defended it better, but...
And once again, the size of the forward pack came back to hurt the Wire. Of course, they went for this more smaller, robust forward pack, but they just got moved around a lot. Yeah. Especially when they went to the edges. They got moved around plenty.
Yeah, they certainly did here. I thought at the start it was, on par.
Well, I mean, Warrington marched 70 metres upfield off the first set they had.
So it was kind of on par to start off with, but then after that, as the match went on, the Rhinos just put the foot down and took control of the match.
They put the foot down, and their defence was first class. Their resolve in this game, and not to mention some of the other results they've had, their defence has significantly improved in the recent 2 or 3 weeks under Rowan Smith. Cruz Leeming, I'd have to say, absolute belter of a game. 1 try, 2 try assists, 134 running metres, 4 tackle breaks, and an offload to his name.
Good match there for Cruz Leeming. Well deserved.
As for the Huddersfield Giants, having come off the disappointment at Tottenham, having lost that game in the dying minutes, they went to the south of France and produced yet another 2 points, downing the Catalan Dragons 22-14.
They flew at the blocks.
They dominated the Catalan Dragons marker. So their marker defense was poor. I mean, never mind the fact that they had Will Price back for his first game after that 10-match ban.
That was a very lengthy ban, yeah.
And I mean, they made a mockery of Tyrone May out on the right-hand side, skipping crossfield, giving it to Latelli, and then finding the gap. I think he stepped back on the inside of... I don't know if I got this game right or wrong, but at a couple... Oh, it probably is later on, but still, Ricky Latelli backing it up after his try-scoring display at Tottenham.
Yep. Well, Huddersfield are on a bit of a roll at the moment. Yes, they did lose in a Challenge Cup final, but they are on the roll and are still improving week in, week out.
The halftime scoreline was 18 points to 2.
Yeah.
Literally, nearly 40 minutes of perfection, albeit for a Sam Tompkins penalty goal right on the stroke of half-time. That was the only imperfection the Huddersfield Giants had for that first half display. Second half, I gotta say, Chris McQueen, he just gives you reasons to pick him as the standout player for Huddersfield. 2 tries, 100 run meters, 3 tackle breaks.
And you picked anyone the Lance Todd medal last week.
Well, he was. That's who got the Lance Todd medal. It was Chris McQueen.
Yeah, so he's kind of got 2 men of the matches. Kind of. He did get 2 men of well, for you, standout performer there. And so let's just say for our books, 2 men of the matches in a row. I've got written here, could Huddersfield be a threat to St. Helens?
Well, no one's a threat to St. Helens at this point. I think it is...
Come playoffs.
Like the NRL, there's this structure that exists in the Betfred Super League where St. Helens is an S-tier side at the moment. They are like the boss and have been boss for at least the last 5 and a bit years. They've had this good run of form, playoffs, grand finals, Challenge Cup wins, all that. They are the S-tier. I would say they are currently a B, but they are really close to an A-tier side at the moment. I mean, I think between them, the Catalan Dragons, Wigan Warriors, they are a B, borderlining on an A-tier side.
Yeah, but they could be a threat, though, come playoffs.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. There's still 2 months to go.
Oh, yeah.
3 months, actually. 3 months to go.
I know it's still a long way to go, but there's, the rate they're going, they could be a threat.
Now, the question is, does Theophage get named for this game, or is Ian Watson happy with giving Russell and Cogger another run?
Well, I wouldn't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh, that's fairly true. And, of course, Leeds will be buoyed by the fact that they're able to keep Blake Austin for another year.
Yes.
But they are coming up against a very different beast than the Warrington side that was pathetic.
Yeah. They're coming up against a side that's a lot higher on the table than what the Wire are. But this could be an interesting clash.
All right. Where do you think Leeds... Where do you think they can win it?
Well, probably how they won it against... Well, not probably how they won it against Warrington, because Warrington was shocking all over the park. But try and break the defence. That's what they try and need to do, so up the middle.
So you think, contend with the massive forward pack Huddersfield have got assembled that includes the likes of English, Lawrence, and the skipper Luke Yates?
It's going to be hard. I'm not saying that I'm not tipping the Leeds Rhinos to win, but it's going to be hard for them. If they need to win, I'd say through the middle.
I think you need to shut down Chris McQueen. He has been one of Huddersfield's go-to weapons out there. Ever since the campaign kicked off under Ian Watson for this year, he has been a weapon. So I feel like you're just shutting down an option if you keep McQueen out of the game. So I think if that's what Leeds were to do, that's what they need to go. That right edge has to be contained. But then you got that other problem with Brickley Telly on the other side.
Yeah.
But no, I think if Huddersfield can kick to the corner, get this Leeds pack chasing, and McQueen gets his hands on the ball in a good field position, I think the Giants come away with this 7-12.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Giants win this one 7-12. It's going to be very hard for Leeds to win this one the rate that Huddersfield have been going as of late.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes down. So Huddersfield for you, or do you think Leeds have got it?
Yeah, Huddersfield 7-12, same as you on that one.
So the Giants, by unanimous decision right there. They will be without Chris Hill, though, the Giants. He's been 9 weeks after his calf injury, 20 minutes into the cup final. So not having him there, that's a massive blow.
It is, but I reckon they can still manage.
Now, moving on, it is over to the AJ Bell Stadium in Salford, where the Red Devils are once again at home to the Wigan Warriors. Well, Salford did not have a fun timeout, going down to Hull KR 43 points to 16.
No comment. No comment whatsoever. Salford, we're lucky to get into double figures.
Lucky?
To get into double figures.
What do you mean, lucky?
Well, how bad... like, who let freaking 43 points in?
If you want to talk about luck, honestly, I would say Salford were lucky on 2 of the tries they scored. The first try to Callum Watkins, they were very lucky to score that in the first half. And then I'd have to say the Tim Lapby try, they got pretty lucky as well with the intercept.
True.
You take those 2 moments out of the game, Hull KR were near perfect.
Yeah.
It was their errors that got Salford onto the board with those 2 tries. But other than that, Hull KR put back up that performance and attacking flair that they have shown in patches and what we're renowned for across 2021.
Yeah, exactly there. The form that Hull KR are in, after a few shocking games, they've actually bounced back pretty good.
Well, the Robins are now inside the top 6.
But
at
it
the
is
moment.
against Salford too, so, I mean, that's a fairly easy target.
I couldn't have split these 2, so I've included both of them. The standouts from the Robins, Lachlan Coote, 2 tries, including a kick he sets up for himself for the first try. Both his first half tries, he was directly involved with. First off, a kick for himself, and then backing up Matty Parcell through the middle. 107 run meters, 4 tackle breaks, 1 offload, 7 from 7 goals converted, and the drop goal at the end of half time.
Yeah, when I saw that was going to be a half-time drop goal, I thought, oh no, here we go. This doesn't generally work out, but...
And then, of course, the captain, I couldn't leave him out either. Sean Kenny Dow, 172 run meters, 1 try assist, 7 tackle breaks, and 1 offload.
Unbelievable. 7 tackle breaks. That is ridiculous.
But Salford, you just got picked apart on the edges. I mean, you look at the left-hand side, you had Lachlan Coote's first try, then you had both the tries for Ryan Hall, where Kenny Dow was causing all sorts of trouble, and then you had Ben Crooks and even Ryan Cross on the other side. Where was the defence there? Where was Sneed? Where was Lappi? Burgess?
Not out there. Well, they were out there, but nowhere to be seen, really. It was just poor defensive from Salford yet again. It's not the first time we've had a huge score put on us.
Look, I think the Watkins try you got lucky, the Lappi try you got pretty lucky, and the grubber kick for Dion Cross, that was just perfect execution.
Yeah.
That was just good execution from the Red Devils right there. But that's them back to the drawing board. The Robins working off some of their negative for and against.
So,
As for the Wigan Warriors, a bit of a scare out of the jungle, you have to say.
yeah, Castleford, they started off pretty good, but once Wigan got going, they were hard to stop.
Well, maybe the Wembley hangover only applies if you've played the Challenge Cup final and won at Wembley.
Yeah, because it wasn't at Wembley, it was at Old Trafford.
Tottenham,
sorry.
It was still in London. Weren't you paying attention?
I got me wrong teams mixed up, okay?
You're wrong teams. Oh, but look, Jake Truman magic. Just that beautiful cutout ball. Probably gone 5 meters. Has crossed the face of the Wigan Warriors defence. And Greg Eaton once again.
Yeah. He's just a weapon out there.
But speaking of weapons, and this is where the game really turned on its head.
Let me guess, you're either going to say Bevan French or Jai Field, or both.
Right on the first count. Bevan French. From the beautifully weighted from Liam Marshall, after moving the ball around, because that's what got Wigan over the line, that beautiful ball movement. But Bevan French, 1 try, 2 try assists, one of them for Liam Marshall to bring up his 100th try for the Wigan Warriors. 122 run meters, 10 tackle breaks and 2 offloads. I could have sworn he was playing fullback half the time from where he was in the defensive line.
You think so, but he wasn't.
Attacking. I could have sworn he was playing fullback and Jai Field had been shunted.
Yeah, but Jai Field was involved in the match, but I don't believe he scored, or did he? No, I think he scored.
He set up a try. He set up a try for Liam Farrell.
Yeah, so he was involved in the match, but Ben French took the spotlight away from Field.
They just turned the game over. They genuinely did.
Yeah.
And Castleford just couldn't handle them after that. And not to mention, it didn't help that Mahe Fanua got sin-binned in and amongst all of that.
No.
But another good result for Channel 4's coverage of the Betfred Super League there, you'd have to say.
Yes, very much so. Wigan, if they continue this momentum for the back half of the season, I've got written here, can Wigan continue this momentum for the back half of the season, or is there a twist yet to come?
Well, there is going to be no Ian Thornley again for the Wigan Warriors after suffering his MCL, so there is going to be a bit of a reshuffle in the back line, I have to say. Probably Abbas Miski stays in the side for the time being. And of course, Field, French, alternate full-back wing, depending who's fit enough.
Yeah.
But they will get John Bateman back. I would think after being rested after the result, he will be back in the side. Kate Cust may be back as well. So there are players to come back for the Matty Pete's side.
Yeah, it surely will be. And they'll be more full strength than what they were last week.
This is just a pure class difference, right?
Yeah.
I'd hear. Even though they'll have Tommy Lulai, Harry Smith, he's found his mark again and in this side. I think Wigan, they will go down there. They will move this Salford side around, this attacking flair that they brought on under Matty P. And I think they'll put on an absolute clinic. Wigan to win this 13+.
Agree. Salford will not turn up whatsoever. And the performance they put up against Hull KR was not good enough. And coming up against a very top side like Wigan, they're going to be absolutely nowhere. So Wigan, agree, 13+.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly result brewing right there and there. Now,
Yes.
moving on, we are at the south of France for Sky Sports' next game, the Catalan Dragons versus Hull FC. Where did it go wrong for the Black and Whites after going down to Wakefield 19 points to 18 after leading 18-6 at the halftime break?
I don't really know what happened with Hull FC there. They were in control for the first half. It was a tale of two halves, really. Hull FC in front for the first half, and in the second half, it was all Wakefield.
Jay Connor was instrumental in the first half, and he did limp off in the 7 minutes into the second half, and that was ironically when Wakefield began their fight back, because he was instrumental in the first half.
When isn't he instrumental?
Both the Swift and the McIntosh tries, his hands were all over them.
Yeah.
But this knee injury he suffered, if he stays on, Hull go on to win the match comfortably at 18-6. They are feeling comfortable.
Yeah, they would have easily beaten Wakefield comfortably if he stayed on, but it didn't happen at the time.
Fred Hodgson says he's not going to blame the fact that he lost his fullback, which is always big. But Wakefield, they just took their chances where possible. I think they really capitalised on some Hull FC mistakes and some good ball movement out to the right-hand side.
Yeah, which, like you said, without Jay Connor there, they weren't... Like, you take one key player like him out and they don't perform well. And it showed in the second half when Wakefield just took complete control and snatched the victory.
The Corey Hall try makes the game competitive. The Lee Gaskell try makes it interesting. And then the Jacob Miller drop goal sets it all off for Wakefield Trinity. But they don't get anywhere near it without some hard running forwards. And I tell you what, David Fafita, not Gold Coast's $1 million waste, but the Wakefield standout forward, 151 running meters, 9 tackle breaks, and 4 offloads.
Good effort. Maybe the Gold Coast Fafita needs to learn how to do it.
Or maybe play in the front row, and actually play like your money's worth.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, good win for Wakefield though.
I think Hull were very unlucky not to get the win in this game. They had a very good first half, but it just seems things played against them in the second half. Catalan, of course, they'll be looking for a bounce back after their middles got opened up by the Huddersfield Giants.
Most definitely they will be.
But you got this hot and cold Hull FC side, and then you got this red hot Catalan Dragon side that got stunned. Who do you think's more likely to bounce back and why?
Well, Catalans, they need to work on a slow start. They're kind of going back to how they were at the start of the year when they were starting off slow and then going on to lose matches. They came back but weren't there, not enough for the victory, and that's what they did last week. But coming into this match, if Jay Connor's not fit enough, which I don't think he will be.
They're hoping he will be fit for the Combined Nations All-Stars match against England in a couple of weeks.
So I'd say Catlins will win this one 7-12. They'll just, I mean, it could be closer, but I think Catlins had the upper edge.
Yeah, I think the Catalan Dragons will bounce back 7-12. I think Hollisey will try and go with them, but once I think all the stars, other than that Dragon side, I'd start to fire, they'll just blow a hole off the park.
Yeah.
Now, from the south of France, we go back to England's north. St Helens against Hull KR at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Saints are very, I wouldn't say comfortable, but they got the job done once again against Toulouse, 28-14.
Well, it's completely different than what we saw when these two met last time here.
A very different result last time, but once again, the reigning champions just doing what they do best.
But St Helens didn't have a full strength side last time these two met either.
Well, Christian Wolf actually ended up praising Toulouse's competitiveness in the second half.
In this match?
In this match, because they were leading 14-2 at one stage. Then Toulouse ran in 2 tries with 11 minutes to go, but of course Saints were able to hang on. But there were some soft tries the Olympique led in. Morgan Knowles comes to mind there. And then what about this guy right here? He's not had the best time on the field, but once he gets on here, he is the amazing Regan Grace. 1 try, 169 run meters, 9 tackle breaks, and 2 line breaks in his return to the field.
Yeah, good return there from Regan Grace. I mean, being out for the majority of the season is not what St Helens and he would have had in mind, but a good return.
But that right edge of St Helens, that just hums nicely. Johnny Lomax to Tommy Makinson, and then of course the centre Conrad Hurrell in a bit of space as well.
Yeah, look, once they got the first try, they were unstoppable. Even, yes, Toulouse did come back with some late tries and that, but it was just not...
It was about outlasting your opponent, and I think that's what St Helens did. Toulouse made the game a bit uncomfortable, but then they found that upper gear, and it's just like, we're still the three-time reigning champions. We are on top, and by a considerable lead of 3 wins at this point in time from the next best opponent, we are going to take you head on.
Yeah.
2 wins, actually.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've got written here, just goes to show again the class difference between the top of the table and the bottom of the table. And not only in this match, but in other top bottom table of the table matches throughout the year so far.
Yeah, look, and Hull KR is coming up a good result, as we just said. Just a couple of handling errors, gave up 2 tries, but this Saints side, they are just impossible to break down.
They are.
So you'd need an excellent kicking game and to knock off Alex Wormsley early to have any hope of field possession. But other than that, I can't see this as anything but a big St Helens win, 13+.
Well, if Hull KR come out and do what they did against Salford, they could be within a chance. But against the Saints, I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm still going to say St Helens, but in a 7-12 margin.
So you still think it's going to be competitive, but the Robins will bring it within 2 scores?
Yeah, at least.
Now, Wakefield, back at the Be Well Support Stadium. This time, the beleaguered, woeful Warrington Wolves.
Yes.
Well, we've already touched on how Wakefield came from 18-6 down to win the game 19-18.
And we already talked about that Warrington getting destroyed by the Leeds Rhinos.
No Peter Matadia for this game. He's been suspended for a match, at least. His brother Sione will be missing the next 2 for the Saints. And we should have mentioned that as well.
They're going to have a family dinner together. When they're suspended. Or a family dinner at the judiciary, maybe.
Well, they probably did. They already did that dine out with the judiciary. But it's not JWH dining out with the judiciary where it's just like there's a table reserved for them every time.
No, not quite like that.
Look, Warrington, they're in a hole. They're 10th on the table. And if Wakefield win this, for and against will dictate they still remain in second to last. But at least they can close the gap on moving away from the relegation zone.
And if Wakefield win, it'll be the 3rd time this year that they've beaten Warrington.
Yeah, because they've already beaten them twice this year. So
Challenge Cup,
Wakefield have got
Challenge
that
Cup
Yep.
Semi-final?
Core, I think round 6, actually.
Yeah, sorry, round 6, and then the league fixture after that?
Beforehand, and then the Cup's
Yeah.
up tie, right, where they got knocked out.
Yeah, so probably the third
Wakefield,
time.
I think they'd be feeling confident about this result at the moment.
If they continue on what they did in the second half against Hull, they should go on to win, and especially the way that Warrington's going.
They're nowhere at the moment, the Warrington Wolves. I called it last week that Leeds would get the win, and I'm going to stick by that same philosophy. I think Wakefield win this 1-6.
Look, I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell with this one, but I like to see Wakefield knock off Warrington. But then again, Warrington slightly ahead on the ladder. Stuff it. Why not go Wakefield 1-6 and see they can knock off Warrington 3 times in a season?
And they probably can, and they have a fair chance. And finally, of the Betfred Super League, we've got Toulouse against the Castleford Tigers.
Yeah, so Castleford, obviously, like we mentioned, went down to Wigan, and Toulouse went down to St Helens. So this one, you think it would go one way, but Toulouse, yet again, last week got double figures, which is what they've done for the majority of the season. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, the Tigers, they can't afford to be moved around like they were against Wigan. Toulouse, on the other hand, the slow start killed them.
Yeah.
And only 2 points to show for their efforts in the first half before running in 2 tries in the second.
True.
But I can't go past the Castleford 7-12 victory here. I think the Tigers, they'll be more likely to bounce back with the strongest squad they have, even with Corey Norman and Daniel Alvaro added in recent times. I think the Tigers will find some. I think all they have to do is get round to lose or break them in a tight one, and they'll come away with the win.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game. As I've said numerous times, it's going to be a soft spot for Toulouse, but yeah, might expect. Where I said them on the ladder at the start of what I think I said third, I'm way off, and it's not going to get. I mean, there's no way they're going to finish third now. But I'm going to say Castleford win this one 7-12.
All right, so that is the Castleford Tigers getting home right there. Now, Spotlight's going to be a little bit different this week. I haven't actually watched the highlights, but I am aware of the result. The North America Rugby League, the attempt to create a professional rugby league competition. If you have been listening to the podcast or the exclusive online interviews on Facebook, you will know I actually spoke to former participant in the NARL, Mark Offerdale of the New York Freedom. For several months since Australia Day, we have heard nothing about this, but over the weekend, we actually did hear something.
Yes, we certainly did hear, and there was a few, would you say...
A pre-season fixture between the Washington, D.C. Cavalry and the Atlanta Rhinos.
With the results being?
The Rhinos coming away 34-24 victors in D.C.
Very nice.
So this is only the second time Washington have actually played rugby. The Cavalry, I'm talking about, have played league. They lost to Toronto in another hit-out they had last year when it was possible for them to do so. Now they've had this first official pre-season fixture, and I got to say, this is probably the first time, and maybe confidence signs right here. According to Rugby League in America, the pre-season is here, so that does indicate the season itself is not actually that far away.
No, which would be good to hear and see, in a matter of fact, too. It's been talked about for, a year? Pretty much since the lifespan of this podcast.
Really, it actually started the week after, of course, fans again, the first interview I had with former US ARL chairman Danny Hansen. Literally the week after I did that interview,
last year.
The NARL concept emerged. I'm just like, all right, there is a possibility American Super League could happen here. Spicy think, spicy cough, inflation, bad economy, sort of not played into establishing a new competition very well. But the fact that they've actually got one preseason fixture to show for now. Whilst not great, it is not the worst outcome possible.
No, it's a start of something. Like, you have to start somewhere. And I think that interview was March last year you did.
Yep, that was last year.
I was away on holidays, so... so pretty much the lifespan of this podcast, it's been talked about, and we're actually getting somewhere.
So this gives me confidence that sometime early July that this season could kick off. Maybe even it's a few weeks away, but we don't have the information yet. And Robert Curtis, the ARL CEO, is waiting for one big announcement where the draw is announced, the sixth team is unveiled, and all the finances is work out. And then maybe we might get a quality American Rugby League product to look at and sell to the world.
If those two teams in the preseason fixture played, well, you'd think that they would be part of the NARL.
Well, they are.
Well, then we need the other
But two of the six teams. Five of them are known. A New York side, the Cavalry, the Rhinos, Toronto, of course. Or you couldn't leave the Toronto Wolfpack out.
On the resurgence back to the Super League, maybe?
No, I think with Toronto, their future lies in North America. And I think this competition is where it lies for them.
Yeah, so we'll keep you up to date, obviously, because this is something that we have been keeping our keen
as well as
eye
our
on.
championship spotlight. It might alternate with a North America watch as well. So, of course, the DC Cavalry, Atlanta Rhinos, Cleveland, a New York side. I already said Atlanta, didn't I?
Yeah.
And the Toronto Wolfpack with an unconfirmed sixth team to come.
Well, we have to wait and see what the teams are going to be officially in as fixtures and when they're going to start playing, because we have been keep on top of this news since pretty much that interview.
As much as we can, because
since
that
interview.
little annoying thing called life just keeps getting in the way for us. But on that note, it is full time from us. If you like this part or the Origin 1 special we played for you yesterday, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you never miss a week of rugby league action anywhere in the world. Don't forget to check us out on our social media platforms on Facebook and on Instagram. It is at Sideline Chat, and on Twitter it is Sideline Chat RL. Hope you enjoy all the league action that comes your way, and I will be writing up those contracts for Mark's extension right now, and there is no way I have injected a secret clause that says he'll be sacked the following week. Along with Mark Hendry, I'm Connor Marcellus, and you have been listening to the Sideline Chat podcast. We'll see you next week.
Bye, folks.